everyone, welcome to episode 176, Snow Globe Parenting.
Meet our mom, Kelly Hutchison. She is a life coach. She is a child counselor. She is a teacher. She's a parent coach. And she's a mom to us. She will teach you to stop yelling at your kids. She will teach you to get your kids to listen. She will teach you how to never sleep with mommy guilt again. She will teach you how to be an imperfect mom, so you can help your kids be imperfect too. And have harmony in the home.
Hey everyone, so today is a little bit heavier than usual. Sometimes I like to teach philosophical, sometimes I like to talk about strategy, sometimes I like to talk about being silly, sometimes I like to talk about the weather. That's ironic that I just said that because I didn't plan on saying that. So Snow Globe Parenting came from a girlfriend many moons ago said to me one time she was going through a really tough time. It was like her husband was losing his job. One of her kids was really struggling in school. Another child of hers was having a hard time making friends, and her mom wasn't in good health. And it was one of those times where the hits just kept on hitting, where they just felt like, can I just get a break? It was so much tension and so much stress. And she said, you know what? I feel like I'm living in a snow globe. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, you know the snow globes where you're in the middle and you shake up the snow globe and then the snow comes down and you can't see the actual figurine on the inside until the snow settles to the bottom. She said, there's so much chaos and I'm in so much crises with so many different areas of my life that I feel like I'm that figurine in the middle of the snowball and it's just been shaken up and I can't see out the window and I can't see out the glass. But I have friends and I have family and I have so much love and support that are standing outside of the snow globe. They're standing outside of the glass and they're waving and they're sending flowers and they're sending well wishes and they're dropping by food and they're doing all the right things and it feels so amazing. And here I am in the middle of the snow globe trying to find the edge, trying to find the clarity, hoping that the snow will settle. And I was like, oh my goodness, an analogy's been born. And I've been using that analogy probably for the last 10 years. Because a lot of times we are going through life and things are copacetic, things are calm, and then we go through these huge life changes that feel like our snow globe has just been shaken up. Like the floor beneath our feet has been ripped out from underneath us. It could be that you find out that your spouse is cheating, you're going through divorce, you've lost a parent, you've lost an in-law, you've lost a grandparent, you all of a sudden have job loss, you're moving, your best friend becomes ill. And I'm just making up examples, but there will be time because our kids are in our four walls for 940 Saturdays. So during those 940 Saturdays, it is guaranteed that you will have something that will shake up your snow globe and rock you to your core, where you're going to feel like you're just walking around in a fog and there's snow all around you and you're trying to find the edge of the glass. And I just want to normalize that for you, that is going to happen. Not that we can't wait for it to happen, but when it does, you kind of remind yourself like, oh, this is part of the 50-50. This is part of the muck that's so hard and so debilitating that happens to everybody. Because a lot of times when we're in the middle of the snow globe, we feel like we're the only ones that this has ever happened to. Or like literally the sky is falling. And so we have been taking care of a family member that is not doing well with their health. And we are the caretakers and the primary caregivers. And it has rocked us to our core. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It's devastating. We feel like we've been shaken up in the snow globe and we're trying to find the edge of the glass. And I'm not trying to sad fish or make you feel sorry for us or anything like that. I just want you to know that this happens to all the people. This happens to me. This happens to you. This happens to your neighbor. This might happen to your spouse. And so this health issue is not something that's ever going to get better. It's debilitating. And to be the caregiver, you start to get helper's fatigue and you start to feel very weighed down by the weight of the world. So we've been dealing with all of that, and it's been very hard and very heavy. But the greatest thing about our family is that when someone's hurting or someone's not doing well, it's all hands on deck for that person. It's a very beautiful and bittersweet part of being part of a family, or just being part of a group of people. It doesn't always have to be family of origin or family of that you're living with right now. It could be just your friends that feel like family. And you just see such inspiration around you. So there's that silver lining in it all of seeing the inspiration. So while we're managing all this and dealing with all this, my sister, who I've always talked about on this podcast, that I have 2 sisters and both my sisters are like my right and left arm. When something good happens to them, it's like it happens to all of us. When something good happens to me, it's like it happens to them. We've always said that since we were very, very little. So when something good it's like you're kind of on a roller coaster with your siblings, if you're that close with your siblings, or your friends. It could be your best friend. My sisters are like my best friends. And so one of my sisters lost everything during Hurricane Ian, which you've probably heard about. I think it made international news. I don't know. It's kind of like when you're watching the local news and that's all that's on there. And you have someone, I've never known anyone that's lost everything in a hurricane. And we get hurricanes all the time around us. So we're kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher, like, wah, wah, here comes another hurricane. We take them seriously, but when you've lived here for almost 50 years and you've never known anybody that's lost their house and all their personal belongings through a hurricane, you just know that you're going to be okay. The worst part about hurricanes for us is that you always lose power. I thought that was the worst part, but seeing your sister lose everything in a hurricane is it feels like we're all walking through a fog after seeing what's happened to her and all of her belongings and her house, and just the aftermath of all of that has been really hard. On top of I felt like we were already in such a snow globe already, dealing with a family member who has dementia. And so we're in the middle of that snow globe, and then this just like whoosh comes in. And thank goodness that she evacuated, because a lot of times we are always told to evacuate, and sometimes you don't know if that's just like people being overly cautious or you really should. And kind of at the last minute she evacuated, and thank goodness she did, because she would have been one of those people sitting on the top of her roof waving for help, and nobody can come get her because the emergency vehicles cannot get through the flooding. The wind was not the enemy in this hurricane, although it did not help. It wasn't like roofs were just blown off of her house, but it was the storm surge that happened from the heavy winds, I think 150 miles per hour. And the storm surge were anywhere from 6 to 12 feet. And she lived on a river. She's still alive. She's very healthy. Thank the Lord she evacuated, or else she would have been trapped on her roof. So when you're going through something like this, and when you're in the middle of the snow globe, I want you to honor that it's okay not to do everything full tilt. It's okay to let things slide. It's okay to be in maintenance phase and get C's and D's, because it's kind of like a curve of a grade. It's like, yeah, I'm getting a C and D in this area, but you know what? I'm kicking butt in the sister world, or I'm kicking butt in the showing support for my friend, or I'm kicking butt on showing up, period, that I'm going to curve my grade and still end up with the B- overall. Because remember, you're in charge of all of it. So it's okay to let things slide and give yourself grace when you're going through a snow globe moment, when you're in the middle of a snow globe and you're trying to find the ends. You're trying to find the glass. And this isn't something that even happened to me. But sometimes we love so hard and we love so deep our friends and our family that we feel like it's happening to us. And also you feel more helpless when you're not the one going through it. Because like when we were going through infertility, so many of our friends and family felt so helpless and they didn't know what to do. And I'm like, hey, I'm good. I'm doing in vitro. I'm going to the doctor. I'm getting shots. I'm very task oriented. I'm checking off the boxes. I'm doing all the things. It's also important to talk to your kids about what you're going through and telling them in a way that's age and stage appropriately. You don't need to tell them all the things, but you can tell them in a way that they know the emotion you're feeling. They like to do something about it. It could be writing cards. It could be giving hugs. It could be saying prayers. Give them something tangible to do to help the cause so they're not feeling so helpless. And our kids are not there to be our emotional companions and our emotional buddies, so to speak. That's why we have counselors. That's why we have coaches. That's why we have pastors. That's why we have our friends and our family to lean on. We can't lean on our kids to give us emotional support. What we can do is we can normalize these emotions. Let them know that this is part of the human experience, but not from a place of scaring them, but from a place of empowering them by giving them something to do. And what's really helped me kind of find the window to the snow globe is when you're in the snow globe, enter into their world, because they will teach you about presence. They will teach you about love. They will teach you about laughter. You can kind of escape in their world, even if it's a game of Connect 4, or if it's a game of Dollies, or if it's G.I. Joes, or going to their sporting events if they're older. That's a way for you to escape in a healthy way. It kind of takes your mind off it, because when you're in the snow globe, what happens is you start ruminating and you're perseverating and you're having circular thinking and you just can't find the window. But that's when you lean on friends. That's why you lean on family. You lean on that support and you accept it and allow it in. because it parts the sea of the snow. We don't use our kids as a pond to make ourselves feel better. We look at our kids, we look to our kids for inspiration, for hope, for kind of the blueprint on how to live a present and happy life. So just know that snow globe is part of the human experience. You've probably had it in your life. This is not our first snow globe moment. It won't be our last. I think we were so focused on being the caregiver that the hurricane just literally came in and just swooped us out from underneath us. And it's rocked all of us to our core, and it should rock us to our core. And I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not sad fishing. I'm not woe is me. I'm trying to share what's happened in our lives that we're going through in the current moment. So when you're going through it, or you've been through it, or you're in it now, that you can normalize it for yourself. Go halfway, and that's okay, and give yourself grace. And what's great is that when you see what helps you kind of see the light and see the glass in your snow globe, you will learn so much through that process. So when you have a friend or a family member or a loved one in their own snow globe, or even a colleague that you don't really know, because the love and support that we've gotten from across the world has been jaw-dropping, that don't even know my sister. They might know me or my other sister, and they're helping us because they love me or they love my other sister, Molly. It's like, whoa, jaw-dropping. So you kind of take notes on like, wow, this is amazing. So when you see other people in their snow globe and you're in calm waters and you can see the light and you can see the glass in your snow globe on just a regular Sunday, then it teaches you how to support them when they're in their own snow globe, because you're going to have so much empathy and compassion for them as well. And when you teach that to your kids, they can learn it and they can give it to other people as well. So just know that the snow globe moments will happen. It could be a long season. It could be years. It could be 6 months. It could be 6 days. It could be 6 hours. But you need to give yourself grace and compassion, because when you do, you're able to give grace and compassion to other people when they're in their snow globe. You're teaching your kids valuable life skills on an age-appropriate level. You're empowering them of how to help other people when they're in their snow globe. And then you're not so mad about the snow globe. And you'll notice that the snow will start to fall. This too shall pass. And after every storm, there's always a rainbow. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Hey mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.